My guess is right on which movies will make $1 billion this year. What's happening, guys? Back at you with the nerd video. So earlier in the year I made a video basically listing off and taking guesses at which movies will make $1 billion this year. So as this year comes to a close and basically most of the movies being out already and having their box office numbers being completed, basically we're going to just take a look and see if I got those guesses right on which movies would actually make $1 billion this year. So let's go ahead and get into this list, get into my guesses. One of the movies that I guessed that had at least the potential to make $1 billion this year was The Little Mermaid. Now, The Little Mermaid did not hit $1 billion this year, but reasoning behind that I thought it had the potential to make $1 billion this year was that the Disney live action remake, more specifically, the Disney live action remakes that were like based on the Renaissance movies that we got during the 90s typically make $1 billion or more at the box office. You got Lion King, you got Beauty and Beast, you got a couple others, and basically with The Little Mermaid being one of those Renaissance films that came out during the Renaissance era of Disney, I thought this movie definitely had the potential to at least maybe get close or crack $1 billion. Actually, it did not crack $1 billion. But with this final worldwide box office numbers coming in at over $500 million, it was definitely one of those guesses that I saw potential in it getting at least getting close to $1 billion. But it didn't make that, unfortunately. Another one of the movies that I guess that could maybe potentially make it to $1 billion was the Super Mario Brothers movie, and that's one of my first guesses that I got right. The Super Mario Brothers movie was a phenom when it came to the box office numbers this year. It came out to like a worldwide box office of over $1 billion, and this one was just I really saw potential of this one getting to $1 billion. This one is one of those movies that I think when I made my guess, I was going to say this movie is going to make at least a minimum of $800 to $900 million. It actually went over $1 billion worldwide, so that is one of the movies I actually guessed right. A movie that I thought that had the potential to get maybe close to $1 billion. I don't think it would have hit $1 billion, but I think it would have gotten at least close. Is Fast X, with the Fast and Furious franchise still going pretty strong. I thought this one was going to at least crack at least a few $100 million, maybe get somewhat close to $1 billion. I don't think it was going to make necessarily $1 billion, but at least get close, and it had potential to get there. Its final box office number actually came in at over $700 million. And really, with the Fast and the Furious franchise, these movies continuously have big box office numbers worldwide. People will still continuously go to check out these movies. So I don't know if any of them will actually crack $1 billion. We do have a couple future movies coming out in the Fast and Furious saga. So I don't know if any of them will actually crack $1 billion, but I can still see the potential of them actually getting high numbers closer to $1 billion. We move on to the Marvel movie that I thought had the potential to get at least somewhat close to $1 million, and that's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Its final box office numbers came in at over $750 million, and that is the biggest box office numbers for a Marvel movie this year. When it comes to the Marvel movies, they still made some money, but they weren't like high numbers as expected that they would have made. But when it comes to the highest grossing Marvel movie of the year with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I thought this one definitely had the potential to get somewhat close to $1 billion, with it being the finale of the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy and just being a movie that people wanted to see. I thought this one definitely had potential to get close to $1 billion. But unfortunately, it didn't make that, but it still got a pretty good number at the box office. Now, this next movie is not out in theaters yet as of recording this video, but honestly, I saw the potential of this movie making close to $1 billion. I don't know if it would have cracked that $1 billion mark, but with the way that DC movies coming out this year and the way their box office numbers are, I do not think that Aquaman and Lost Kingdom will crack $1 billion or really get close to $1 billion. I think this one is going to go right under 500 million, and really the reason why I said it had potential to maybe crack $1 billion or at least get close to $1 billion was that the first Aquaman, people may not know this, but the first Aquaman movie that came out back in 2018 is actually the highest grossing DC movie of all time. It grossed over $1 billion at the box office and is, like I said, the highest grossing DC movie of all time. Not many people may have known that. So with this one being a sequel to that successful movie, I thought it had potential to come close to $1 billion. Now, with the way that DC movies have gone this year with their box office numbers and the looming new DC universe under James Gunn is coming out pretty soon, a lot of people I don't think will go and see this movie. So I could see this movie not even getting to 500 million, probably getting under 500 million at the box office. So it's definitely probably not going to crack a billion. And we get into another movie that I thought had potential to maybe get inch its ways closer to that $1 billion mark. Maybe not cross it or get to it, but I could definitely see it doing some high numbers. And that was Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. With the way that Top Gun Maverick performed last year, where it made over $1 billion, this was kind of a resurgence of Tom Cruise. And going off of some of the other Mission Impossible movies, they do make some good numbers at the box office when it comes to them being in theaters. So I thought this one definitely had potential. I don't know if it was going to crack that $1 billion mark, but I think it was definitely going to get some high numbers. But this one only squeaked by with over $500 million at the box office. Now we get into two movies that I honestly did not see this coming, with them making this much money at the box office. The first one we got is, of course, going to be one of the only other movies that made over $1 billion at the box office this year, and that is going to be Barbie. Barbie was an unprecedented, just this movie that just came out and just blown up, and people just going to see it, and with it just cracking over $1 billion worldwide. It was just an amazing feat that it did, and just honestly unexpected, at least for me, that I really did not see it coming to where it made over $1 billion at the box office. You know, with it coming in at, you know, about $1.4 billion, I believe. Just was honestly just like, it was a surprise to me. Like, I honestly didn't even expect it to just be this storm that was in theaters, and just have people just going out and watching it, and just being able to crack over $1 billion at the worldwide box office. It was, like I said, just a surprising feat that it did that. It did those numbers. It was just surprising. It was just surprising to me. But alongside that, it was also paired up with this movie that took the internet by storm, with the whole Barbenheimer meme going on, and that is Oppenheimer, which it didn't crack $1 billion, but it came definitely pretty close to $1 billion. It grossed over $900 million worldwide at the box office, and definitely is going to be to the help of the whole Barbenheimer event that was going on, where we had both of these movies being paired up in theaters in the same weekend, and everybody just ranting about like how going out to theaters, oh, we're gonna go see Barbie, we're gonna go see Oppenheimer, and this whole thing, this whole Barbenheimer event taking culture by storm, and just having people just go out to the box office in theaters and all that. I did suspect that this one was going to make some big money, but like over $900 million, that was definitely unexpected for me, and didn't really see it making that high much of money. I saw it around maybe like the maybe a little under $700 range, but it definitely helped with the whole Barbenheimer event going on with this. That this movie got boosted up by that. So it was definitely surprising, but Oppenheimer was a good movie and definitely was deserving of its box office numbers. But that is going to get it. That's going to complete my list of some of the guesses that I had for this year of the movies that could potentially have made $1 billion this year. But that's going to do it for this video. Hope y'all all enjoyed it. Remember to turn notifications on so you know I post another video. Hope y'all have an awesome day, and remember, be legendary.